We're still working with percents, and now we're getting into actually using those in problems. So in this section, we're going to be finding the percent of a number, like what is 50% of 100, okay? But they'll be a little bit more complicated than that. So think back to when we talk about algebraic expressions and verbal expressions. When you have a verbal expression and it has the word of, that's the key word that you need to multiply. Okay, so keep that in mind with these problems. For the steps that you're going to do, you're going to change the percent to a decimal. Anytime you're working with more than just a percent in a problem, you need to change it to a decimal. Okay, because the percent is talking about just the percent part, so we have to, with other numbers, use it as a decimal. So then we're going to take our decimal and multiply it by the other number that we're trying to find what percentage that is of. So examples will look like this. We have 15% of 20, or 40% of 80, 45% of 90. So again, our first step is to change our percent to a decimal. So that's where we divide it by 100 or just move our decimal. So 15% will be 0.15. Of means to multiply, and then I have 20. So to find 15% of 20, or a part of 20, I need to take 0.15 times 20. When I do that, I get 3. So again, we're finding a portion of 20, so our answer should be smaller than 20. And if you look, just some quick estimation, 10% of 20 would be 2, because we're just moving our decimal one place with 10%. So 15% is a little bit over that 10%, so 3 is a little bit over 2. Alright, now let's look at 40% of 80. So 40% as a decimal would be 0.40, or I'm just going to use 0.4. Of means to multiply, and then 80. So if I take 4/10 and multiply by 80, ooh, I put 81 in, you get 32. Again, using mental math, 50% of 80 would be half of it, which is 40. So 40% should be a little bit less than 40, which it is. 32 is a little bit less than 40, or half. Alright, last one, 45% of 90. So changing 45% to a decimal, I get 0.45 times 90, entering that in my calculator. I get 40.5, and I will leave the decimal. Unless it tells you to round to the nearest whole number, leave your decimal. Okay?